Hey, what's up everybody? Today we're going to learn how to dial in a new amp. Hey everybody, Corey here again. Today we're going to learn how to dial in a new amp. This isn't exactly a new amp to me. I've had it, I'm going to say 4 or 5 months, something like that. I'd always wanted an 800 or a 900, and worked up a deal where I wound up trading a Strat I had at the time for this, and I love the thing. But one of the things that's tricky when you get a new amp is figuring out how to find your sound with it. So often people grab an amp, get a new amp, we don't crank the volume in here because I live in an apartment. But you'll crank the gain and then be unhappy with it. And I'm here to show you there's a little more dynamic to that volume, to those controls, than what a lot of people realize. And also show you how to find what is your sound. All right, now to do this, one of the first things we're going to do is I've taken my pedal board completely out of the equation. If you want to figure out how an amp sounds, the last thing you want to do is run it through 25 patch cables and then jack it into here through two 12-foot cables. So what we've done is I've taken a 10-foot Megami Gold cable here and run it directly from my guitar into the amp the way it's meant to be. And we're just going to kind of go through it here. The first thing you want to do is kind of figure out your knobs, figure out what you have. This amp has 2 channels with a single button foot switch that bounces between. You can watch the red light change. The A channel is your clean channel, you'll hear. I've actually got the gain cranked up pretty good right now, but with it down and a little more volume. That's your clean channel right there. And frankly, it's pretty clean, but it's a Marshall, so don't expect a ton of headroom. But having the gain control really helps that. So you can stay clean for quite a while with this amp. I'm not sure how far you're going to gig with it at that volume, but it's capable. So one of the first things I do is I like to take all of my controls here, the presence, which is more of a personal preference, I guess, as are all of these. We're going to roll the bass, the middle, and the treble all straight up to 12 o'clock and kind of get an idea for what we're going to hear. I've got the gain at 12 o'clock as well, so we're going to pull the volume back and see. It actually sounds pretty good with all those straight. Quite surprisingly. So normally, where I would start is I'd add in just a touch more load in, more bass into the mix. So I'll take that treble over here to about 6 on the dial. The mids I'm going to leave around 5, but we're going to add just maybe take the highs up to about 7 and back off the gain just. I'm finding that I really like the presence knob here, which surprised me quite a bit. Generally, I have this up more around here because I tend to like a brighter sound. But here it's adding kind of a thickness that I really dig. Your presence knob essentially is how present you are. I mean, I hesitate to use that word because it sounds so cheesy, but it's a great description for this. I'll rotate through it here for you while I hit a note and just show you. You may or may not be able to hear it through this mic because, like I said, we're not running this through a DI or anything today. I want to make sure that you're able to hear the amp a little better. But for what we're doing now, I'm gonna leave that presence knob where it's sitting. I've got the reverb up a little high, I notice. So once I get the EQ where I like, then I start fiddling with the gain. I like to try it down low, and then kind of get a feel for what it sounds like dimed. Which is, dimed is a little more than I like. So I tend, believe it or not, especially on channel A with this, I like to have it dialed back a little bit, somewhere around 4 on the dial. Not 4 o'clock, 4 on the dial. And the reason I like that is because this is your A channel, your channel 1 is kind of your rhythm channel. Adjust the volume back a little bit. But it's really good for your rhythm tones here. Whoop, too much. There's a very fine line with this amp that you cross where suddenly it's out there. But that's where you're getting that. It almost sounds a little more edge of breakup. With the volume down this low, we're not really there anyways at actual edge of breakup. But it kind of simulates that at lower volumes for you. And you get just a little trash in there. It's clean when you strum, but when you lay into it, you start getting that distortion, and that's where I like it. Now you can, really easily, it depends on what kind of music you play. I play a lot of classic rock, a lot of bluesy stuff, where I don't want super distorted, but I certainly don't want clean. So, you can make a big difference going here over to like 6. Let me turn the volume down a little. And it's obviously way more distorted there at that level. And you can even, crank her up here to 9. And that's a great sound. Depending on the song, I'll crank it up around there. But for just standard, like classic rock rhythm, I'm in the 4 range. If I'm playing anything a little more modern, I'd probably have it up here in that 8 o'clock range on the knob. But let's see how our reverb is. Let's get a range for that. I'm going to play a chord and we're going to go back and forth with it and just see how we sound. I think in that 6 o'clock slot is about where I want to have it, because the Marshall reverb is not like the Fender reverb. The Fender reverb will reverberate you out of your chair if you're not careful. Marshall reverb is a little more mellow. Now it's funny I say that because on my TSL 602, my combo amp, it's very different. It's a strong reverb. We had the tank changed in it recently because tank went out, and got a new reverb tank installed, and now it's a lot of reverb. You've got to really dial it back. Where with this JCM 900, it's not so much. So it's a little more manageable. So let's see. So that's about it for channel 1, but give it a little more presence. Oh, that's it. That's my happy spot for channel 1 right there. Yeah, I like that a lot. As a matter of fact, this is nothing like the settings I had on this normally. That's probably where we're going to keep it from now on, because I really like that as a channel 1. So let's click over here to the high gain channel. It's a lot more touchy. I've got its gain almost all the way down, but its gain is very different. It's got a little crackle in it right now. I need to take this apart and clean out the pots and stuff here real soon. Gotta turn down the volume when I crank the gain. As you can tell, the lead channel gets freaking filthy on this, and I love it. It's not uncommon for me to really crank the gain on the lead channel because I like playing with the pinch harmonics and stuff, and that really I guess as you can tell, I'm a child of the 80s. So I do love the hair metal. I know they hate that term, but that's the only way I know to describe it. So this channel is it's deep, it's got a rumble, and I mean, I've really got it metered back here. Just a smidge of a turn, and it'll blow this camera right over. So we've got to be kind of gentle with it, but it's easy to get it to that happy place. It is a little, it may be darker than some people would like, but before I mess with the bass treble and mids, I am more inclined to, if you want to brighten it up a little bit, hit the presence knob. And let's pull back off the gain and just see what we get at about straight up and down here at 5 o'clock and see where it's at. That's a really great spot because it's pretty versatile. I mean, you know, for rhythm, I mean, if you're playing hard, heavy metal, you know, you might want that gain dime so you can get that Marshall chug that everybody loves so much. But you know, when it comes to playing lead, you want the gain, but you don't have to go overboard with it. Everybody wants to go overboard with gain, but the truth is, you feel it. You can still feel it moving, and there's kind of a happy point you want to get to there. Because otherwise you'll wind up with a lot of noise, you'll wind up with a lot of trash in your sound. And by backing your gain off a little bit, you can really get rid of a lot of trash. You can do the same thing backing off your volume knob. Like if I crank this guitar down to 5, well, for starters, you can barely hear it. So in a lot of cases, people don't even use a foot pedal to switch. What they'll do is during rhythm parts, they'll be dialed down to maybe 7. But then when it's lead time, you'll crank this up and be... and then you can just roll her back about a quarter turn and you're right where you want to be. So it's all about having some patience, taking time with your amp, trying it at different volumes, because the truth is, where we're setting this up right now is very different from where I'd set it up if we were able to crank the volume just a little more. Because with the volume cranked, it's going to sound different. So it's likely there would be some minor EQ adjustments, maybe some gain adjustments. It's tough to say at the volume we're playing it at now, because for starters, it would blow this microphone off the camera. But overall, I love this amp. It's a good amp, you know, and it's, if you're ever in the market for a JCM 900, you want to look for the model 4100. They made a later version that kind of sucks, and for whatever reason the model escaped me. I'm sure my captions will criticize me by the time this video comes out and tell you what model that is that no one likes. But this one's a gem. It was like new when I got it. It's built in 91, I want to say, so it's almost 30 years old. But it looks like it just rolled off a Marshall factory table somewhere. The hope, though, is that what we'll do with this video is I've showed you how to sit down, have a little patience, and just kind of find where you like your sound. And in doing that, hopefully you'll learn more about your amp. Because quite often, people get an amp, get in, turn on some volume, crank some gain, and just go to town shredding away. And that's fine if that's what you're into. But if you're going to be playing it out or using it for recording, you really want to know the nuances of your amp and know that, you know what, it kind of, you know, your bass flubs off when you crank the volume past 7. Or, as is common with a lot of Marshalls. Or, for instance, you know, your gain gets too thin and too trashy after 6 or after 8. Or you only love it dimed. If that's the case, good for you. Rock on, man. But what I want is for everybody to be able to know your amp better, to learn to work it better for individual situations, and to help you hear when you're playing a song, to understand that, you know what, my mids are a little too high, or I need to roll off the treble a little bit here. And by knowing the limits of your amp and knowing how your knobs work, you will be able to do that quickly on the fly. Like if you're playing live and suddenly you're like, oh crap, and you're not rolling it back, going back to the song, rolling it back, going back to playing, rolling it back. You're able to just reach over and go 4 and know where you need to be and get back to your song. So there's real value to this, and this just touches on how to dial in an amp. There's plenty we could talk about with regard to knowing your tubes, knowing how to recognize a problem with tubes, and cable problems, or how to recognize a scratchy pot, because this has got a couple of them that I'm going to work on soon. We may do that in a video too, because I dabble in amp repair. I'm still pretty new to it, but there are many things I'm comfortable doing. But that's about it for this one. I want to thank everyone for taking a few minutes out of your day to watch this video and kind of hopefully learn something. We really appreciate your time. If you would, please give us a thumbs up if you enjoyed the video. If not, please just leave. I'm kidding. But we'd also appreciate if you'd hit the subscribe button and ring the little bell. That helps us out a lot. It helps YouTube's algorithm know that people are watching these, and it gets them to put it in front of more videos, in front of more viewers, which is what the goal is. I'd like a lot of people to be watching these and have a good community where we can talk back and forth and have a lot of fun, maybe. Well, that's it for today. So thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.